What's up, everybody? This is Nile Live here. I hope you like this video. Get to it. I will be reading Percy Jackson. I probably had to continue this. So, Percy Jackson. I'm going to be reading chapters 1 and 2 and 3. And I hope you like this video. Hopefully my phone will stay like this. Oh, here we go. That's what I am on it. I guess we'll read a chapter, 3 chapters every day. Okay, so okay. Percy Jackson, chapter 1. Look, I didn't want to be a half-blood. If you're reading this because you think you might be one, my advice is to close this book right now. Believe whatever lie your mom or dad told you about your birth and try to lead a normal life. Being a half-blood is dangerous. It is scary. Most of the times it gets you killed in painful, nasty ways. If you're a normal kid reading this because you think it's fiction, great, read on. You before looking, being able to believe that none of this ever happened, but if you recognize yourself in these pages, if you feel something strangely inside, stop reading. And tentatively, you might be one of us, and once you know it, that it's only the matter of time before they cinch it to a nail come for you. Don't say didn't warn you. My name is Percy Jackson. I'm 12 years old. Till a few months ago, I was a boarding school student in Yancey Academy, a private school for troubled kids in upstate New York. I'm a terrible troubled kid. Yeah, you could say that. Pretty good. We still have all this left. Still have all this. Let me get up closer. I could start at my point in my short, miserable life to prove it, but things really started going bad later. May 28 normal case kids and 2 teachers on my yellow school bus heading to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Look at ancient Greek and Roman stuff. I know it sounds like total musancy field trips were, but Mr. Bruner, our Latin teacher, were leading this trip too. So I had hopes. Mr. Bruner was this middle-aged guy in the motorized wheelchair. He had thinning hair and scruffy beard in a furried tweed jacket. Where am I? Oh. Which always smelled like coffee. And you wouldn't think he'd be cool, but he told stories and jokes, politicians in Roman armor and weapons, so he was the only teacher whose class didn't put me to sleep. I hoped the trip would be okay. At least I hoped, though, for once I wouldn't get in trouble. Boy, I was wrong. See, bad things happened to me on the field trips, like at my 5th grade school. When I went to the Saratoga battlefield, I had this accident with a rotary war cannon. I wasn't aiming for the school bus, but of course I got expelled anyway. And before that, at my 4th grade school, and I took a beehive at the census toward the Marine World Shark Pool. I sort of hit the wrong lever on the catwalk, and our class took a planted swim, and the time before that, well, you get the idea. It's a pretty funny book, isn't it? One of the funniest books I've ever read in my life. The trip I was determined to go to be good all the way into the city, but I put up with Nancy Bobo Fett, the freckly redhead kelp Mac girl, hitting my best friend Grover in the back of the head with chunks of peanut butter and ketchup sandwich. Oh my god. Grover was on easy target. He was scrummy. He cried grades because he was the only 6th grader with acne, and he was crippled. He had a note excusing him from PE for the rest of his life because he had some kind of muscular disease in his legs. He walked funny, like every step hurt him, but don't let that fool you. You shouldn't see him run. When I was in Kale today in the cafeteria, anyway, Nancy Bobo Fett was throwing wads of sandwiches that stuck in his curly brown hair, and he knew I couldn't do anything but back to her because I was already on Protein. The headmaster had threatened me with DDT by the school suspicion. If anything bad, embarrassing, or even mutually threatening happened on this trip, I was going to kill her, I mumbled. Grover tried to calm me down. It's okay, I like peanut butter. I dodged another piece of Nancy's lunch. That's it. I started to get up, by Grover pulled me back to this. See, you're already on Protein. He remembered me. You know who get blamed if anything happened. Looking back on it, I wish I'd decked Nancy Bobo Fett. This must be the funniest book I've ever read in my life. Huh? No, it's the crackhead neighbors. 8 minutes in this book, and we're on page 5. I don't know if I have enough storage. Huh. Okay, let's get back to the story. So, I'll tell you what is going on here. Close it. Nancy Bobo Fett. So, in the first page, he tells you, like, if you think you're a half-blood, you should close this book immediately. But if you, it just, like, tells you about what he does. If like a half-blood, if you think you're not half-blood, you should keep reading, and you think it's fiction. Just keep reading, and it says, my name is Percy Jackson. I am 12 in 6th grade. And on the next page, it tells them how describing Mr. Bruner, but and Nancy Bobo Fett on the next page. I'm about to read the next page. Ready? If you guys want me to read more of these books, it's gonna be about me 3 months. I'm guessing maybe 4. Maybe 4 months before we get to read at least 2 of these. These are huge. These are 377 pages, worth 13 points if you are an AR. Okay. Right then and there in school, suspension would be nothing compared to the mess I was about to get myself into. Mr. Bruner led the museum tour. He rode his up in front of his wheelchair, guiding us through the big Achille glares past marbled statues and glass cases. It blew my mind that this stuff had survived for 2,000, 3,000 years. He gathered us around the 13-foot tall stone column with a big sphinx on the top of it, and started telling us how it was a grave marker, a stele for the girl but our age. He told us about the carvings on the sides. It was trying to listen to what he had to say because it was kind of interesting, but everybody around me was talking, and every time I told them to shut up, the other teachers, Champer, Miss Dodds would give me an evil eye. Miss Dodds was this little math teacher from Georgia who always wore a black leather jacket, even though she was 50 years old. She looked mean enough to ride a Harley right into your locker. She had come to Nancy halfway through the year when our class math teacher had nervous breakdown from her first day. Miss Dodds loved Nancy Bobo Fit and figured I was a devil spawn. She would point her crooked finger at me and say, "Now, honey, real sweet," and I know I was going to get after school detention for a month. One time, after she made me erase answers out my old math workbooks until midnight, I told Grover I didn't think Miss Dodds was human. He looked at me real suspicious and said, "You're absolutely right." Mr. Bruner kept talking about Greek furniture art. Finally, Nancy Bobo snickered something about the naked guy on the stela, and I turned around and said, Will you shut up?" It came out louder than I meant it to. The whole group laughed. Mr. Bruner stopped his story. "Mr. Jackson," he said, "did you have a comment?" My face was totally red. I said, "No, sir." Mr. Bruner pointed to one of the pictures of the I can't pronounce nothing. Freps. "You'll tell us what the picture represents." I look at the carving and felt a flush. Because I actually recognized it. That's Kronos eating his kids, right? "Yes," Mr. Bruner said, positively, "not Stafflield." And he said this because, well, I racked my brain to remember Kronos was the king of God. And God, Mr. Bruner asked,